and welcome back to another interview with Chatmoonia. Today I am joined by the coach of Elite Klan Violet, Rasmus Mupplo Berglund. How are you doing and welcome?
Thank you. Happy to be here. I'm doing quite well. What about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you very much as well. Let's get straight into it. Obviously, you joined Violet in early 2024 as a head coach. What kind of background did you have and what stuff have you done around Counter-Strike before you joined Violet as a head coach?
I have played CS for a very long time, obviously. Everyone has at this point, I feel like. I think I had the peak of my career around 2014, but unfortunately I have a movement disability in my right arm. So I felt like I was always handicapped to some point, and even though at that point I got quite far, didn't really take off that well. And after that I've been on and off coaching, mostly in Swedish projects, and also done some management overall in a lot of projects in Sweden. And I think in general I've had quite positive reception, so I've kept doing it for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, then you joined, obviously, I think it was March of 2024. You joined Violet around the same time when Jody took over as an IGL and they had their most recent addition to the lineup. How easy has it been working with this lineup? Obviously, you said you've had other coaching experience. How easy is this and how does it differ from your previous coaching experience?
I mean, obviously it was quite turbulent when Miley left. I started trying out, I think, 2 weeks before Miley left, actually. And then there was a bit of radio silence there, and then I jumped in and we discussed how we would move forward, and Jody going into the IGL role was obviously a key part of that. And also finding Kim eventually, once we had tried out a couple of players. I think it would be unfair to say that it has been harder than any other projects I've been in, because it has actually probably been the opposite, very easy. I think Jody has done a great job, both effort-wise and evolved herself to a point of being a pretty good IGL, considering how little experience she has doing it. And I think something that's quite underrated as a coach is being adaptive and trying to find your place and adapting it towards IGL and the lineup overall. And I think effort-wise, I probably put in way less effort into this lineup to get it to the point where it is now than I have with other lineups I've coached. But in a very positive way, in that I don't need to do more than I do because they already put in so much effort themselves. And they kind of approach me if they have something in particular they want me to help them with. And then, obviously I do the standard stuff, looking at mistakes, helping make demos, preparing for opponents, but yeah.
So how detailed are you when it comes to the daily operations within a team, or are you more focusing on the bigger picture?
Obviously both. It depends a little bit. I mean, with any team it goes up and down. There's some tough periods, and obviously during the tough periods it's probably I need to be more involved. But if everything is working and everyone is playing well and everyone is doing their jobs and following the system we have set in place, then I have to get involved a lot less, obviously.
Yeah, well, obviously you joined now Elite Klan. It was announced, I think, a couple of weeks ago at this point. And I already talked with Jody earlier this week, and she mentioned that there were other teams as well, or other organizations that were interested. But you ended up with Elite Klan. So I guess my question would be, what part did you play in this decision to choose and play under Elite Klan as an organization?
I think, well, basically how it went is I know Valle from other Swedish projects we have been in, and it was actually quite funny because I think I mentioned that I was coaching in another project Discord, and then he sent me a DM how we're doing and how it's going and all of that, and then it went this to that, and we started discussing whether or not we would want to join them. So it was it went quite fast actually. And as you mentioned, we had a couple of other offers on the table, but I think the main thing was that Valle didn't promise anything that he wasn't sure he could keep. While the others, there might have been a couple of things that either sounded a bit questionable or, you know,
unrealistic or something like that. So
yeah, a little bit, or it was more like, yeah, we can't offer this now, but maybe in August, or you know, like no real promises.
Yeah.
And yeah, and also Valle has a very good vision, and we really liked what he showed us, both everything from the branding to future plans, and it sounded very unique, especially me who has been in a lot of, especially Swedish projects, has, there's a lot more vision here than there usually is at this point.
Well, as a coach, then going into the second part of 2024, what are the main goals that you've set for yourself? Because I think team-wise, we can talk about it a bit later, but what do you think are your own goals as a coach in this lineup?
I mean, obviously, I will mention that the team goals is obviously to qualify to Impact, and I think my main goal is to help the girls get there. It's quite soon, obviously. I think we've done a lot of good preparations, and especially staying together for this long. I think maybe that's the main point, is to keep everyone as happy as they are now, and really make sure they stick together no matter what. Because it is a really, really good atmosphere. I would almost dare say that it might be the best team atmosphere in female Counter-Strike, because I can't see how it could be any better.
Yeah. Also, it's difficult because you don't see too much into other teams as well, but
yeah,
at least
precisely.
From the outside.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that ESL Impact are the main goal, and I don't think that's a secret to anyone. I think that's to any female team that is the main goal. It's in roughly 2 weeks as we're doing the interview, so how do you see your chances in those ESL Impact qualifiers? Do you think it is a realistic goal, or is it more something that you're still kind of reaching for?
I think it's realistic. I mean, I mentioned we stayed together for quite a long time at this point. 4 of the players have played together since January. And in terms of most teams that are trying to qualify, there's obviously very few that have stayed together for longer. And I think that's very important. We've had a lot of time to work on our map pool. Yeah, I mean, I think we have very, very real chances to get in, but obviously there's a lot of solid players, solid teams that participate as well. So,
well, about those solid teams, because I also asked this from Jody, who do you think would be the favorites to go through those qualifiers? Is there any team that stands out above the rest, for example?
I haven't actually looked at all of the teams, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
So I can't. I don't think I can pick one out right now.
Yeah.
But there are quite a lot of them. I mean, for example, ENS is playing the qualifier, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jody mentioned Team France.
Oh yeah, Team France as well. Yeah, they are very solid. Obviously, really good results, and they seem to be having a lot of fun as well, which you know, matters a lot.
Yeah, it helps, especially when you're winning. It helps quite a lot.
Yeah.
Well, then, as a team, outside of just results, what would be like your main focuses with this team? Areas to improve or stuff that you need to maintain from the last few months?
I mean, I think the main thing is, I mentioned this to the girls a few times, but it's like, you know, adversity builds character and, you know, a stable base to stand on, as long as you like take it the right way. And I think they've had a lot of adversity, both with like roster changes, also other teams before this lineup, and I think it's somewhere to like keep that mindset up, that no matter what goes wrong, you can always learn from it and like move on and become stronger.
Yeah. Well, then where do you see this lineup at the end of the year? You've had basically have this lineup pretty much for 6 months. Obviously, Kim came in a bit later, but after the last 6 months of the year, where will this lineup be? In your opinion, where do you see this realistically?
I mean, if we like look at the results we've had, for example, like a double overtime loss against Guild. Obviously, they disbanded soon after that, but I still think that's a very, very solid result. We've had a couple of good showings. We played really good against Pigeons actually in a best of one. I'm still a bit. I still look at that that match as like a good hallmark. I think we only really lost it because we lost against Eco Boy, which was unfortunate. But either way, I do see us. You know, I think we have a good chance to qualify to Impact. I think we will. I think we'll put up solid performances against most teams there. And I think we will keep doing that.
And well, now that you are part of Elite Clan, is there something we can expect either from the team or from you, like outside of the server? Because obviously you now have an organization that is backing you, and we've already seen some of the stuff they've come up with in social media. Is there something we can expect to see from you, for example, through social media channels?
I think there will be definitely be a couple of things. They really want to like bring out a lot of content. Not everything is figured out. I am involved in a little bit of the management there. So I do have like a couple of ideas what we'll probably do, but there will definitely be content. So make sure to follow.
Yeah, like where can they find you, or who should they follow if they wanna see this content?
Elite Klan GG on Twitter.
Yeah,
I think that's their @ right?
Yeah, that is. Yep,
yes.
Elite Klan GG. I'll make sure to put it in the description as well. And what about your own content? Do you think?
I'm obviously very focused on the girls overall. There might be some content. I might participate in some content, some events, definitely. But the girls are definitely the main characters.
Yeah. What about well then? Do you have any other topics you want to discuss, or any last words or messages you'd like to send?
I could send a message to the team actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't say like I've personally had like a couple of rough months. Kinda like since March-ish. Some like family things happening and stuff. So I really want to thank them for providing this environment, because I put so little effort towards the environment part of this team, and it's still such a nice place to be. And I really, really believe in every single one of them.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thank you a lot for this interview. Thank you for coming, and good luck, obviously, with your ESL Impact qualifiers, but also other tournaments that you have coming in the second half of 2024.